Hey guys, welcome back, man. Good to see you. Good games coming up, man. This topsy-turvy Premier League weekend. Hillary, man, this is crazy, man. I don't even know how to explain this, man. People keep dropping points, coming back again. City look like they came back to life a little bit, but then almost Brentford just took them apart. And Liverpool, what can you say, man? Like there's all this hype around them, but right now they seem quite vulnerable. And then Arsenal, doom and gloom. Now we're 4 points, finding them 4 points behind. Yesterday, Arteta out. Today, Arteta hero. Huh?
This small team, this small team tried to escape over the weekend. Everyone went missing. Nobody was around, but it's okay. Yesterday they beat Tottenham. You find Steve here with the beer, cold beer, because they beat Tottenham, third choice squad. But it's okay. What I'd say about Arteta, my opinion on Arteta is he is a glorified Pochettino. He's just a Pochettino with a budget. The reason I say that is every big team or every big manager that is trying to win the title always always fights in every big team always fights in every competition. If you look at City, Liverpool, the seasons they won, they were always fighting in all the competitions. So that in case you miss out on one, at least you compensate yourself with another title. Looking at how things are going, out of the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, are you guys going to beat Newcastle at St. James with the form that Newcastle is having? I doubt. Champions League, Barca just beat Madrid 4 goals in the first half. Bayern is out there doing things. You have Liverpool within our own league, so Champions League is already out of the question. Now you're left with the Premier League. What happens if you don't win the Premier League? Are you ready to go a sixth season without a title? Because how much has Arteta spent? 800 million only to win with Emery's squad. I mean,
But at
what's
the end of the day, well, you can say a lot, yeah, but they're 4 points behind, aren't they? Steve, I mean,
well,
like,
yes,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
fourth
You
place.
see, you see, you see. There's only one thing I can agree with. Yeah, I can agree with all the backlashing that is coming from Hillary. It's expected because as an Arsenal fan, honestly, not even the it's not even now a matter of coaching because you can see the energy at which Arsenal is playing. You can, as from my point of view, and most fans they have been airing the same sentiments on Twitter, sorry, on X, on social media platforms about us having a striker. And I think this was a conversation even before the start of the season that people felt like the previous season we lacked a proper number nine to help us go through. That was a conversation, not even this season. And Abdi, you can bear witness. I've always been saying that. I've always been complaining about Arsenal since the first episode of this season. I've been taking the 3 points, yes, but I've always been saying that there's something lacking. I've been calling Kai Havertz a person who's running like a headless chicken in the field. It's been my normal statement here and there. It's something we are lacking because you can see the style of play. We can say, look at the game we played yesterday. Honestly, the game that Arsenal played yesterday, they were good. Even on defense, it was just a bad deflection of Saliba that went in, which is it's part of the game. But we played well. But now the problem is after getting the ball from our goalkeeper to the other goalkeeper to score, it becomes an issue. And then you see that is why at times you see the likes of Trossard, they always have that instinct of shooting instead of keep on passing every time. That's one thing I like about Trossard that, but he's been liking that in the past almost. He's not scored almost the 7 games down the line. You see, there's just something missing about Arsenal. That I cannot dispute about that. But let's not call Ateta coach and Pochettino on a budget because honestly, Manchester United fan Hillary knew where Arsenal was even when Unai Emery came. I don't dispute the fact that we've lost to Manchester United in a very poor way. That is the story of another day. It was a very bad loss, but still, we cannot. you cannot write off Arsenal yet. I know we're playing bad, but you see, the table doesn't
Question.
lie. Let me tell you
Quick
one thing,
question.
Hillary. Before you, I know what you want to
Question.
say. You cannot. I know you like I know what you're talking about, the Barcelona, Bayern, whatever, all that.
No, 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 no.
The
I'm
the
not even
fact
about
is,
Liverpool.
listen
Two
to me,
questions.
listen to me, Hillary. Listen to me, Hillary. I want you to be very keen. Listen to me very keenly. The gap that we've been struggling with Liverpool on top right now is narrowed down to 4 points, which people never thought that we could have bridged that gap because every time Liverpool have been bottling, we've been also bottling. So let me tell you one thing. It's a matter of pushing on until it doesn't work because there are games still to be played. Don't write off Arsenal because yes, we're not having a good time right now, but don't write because we're still in the game. Write us off in the FA Cup because that one we're out. Yes, I know we are 2 goals down. We're waiting for a second leg to play against Newcastle United, but I know we're a goal down. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. We're in the game still yet. There's a lot to be done. That is one thing I can agree that Arsenal has a lot to do. It is so little, but a lot to
Let me
do
come
to
in
be
that one,
where we're
Steve.
supposed to be.
Let me come in that one. I mean,
I,
that's a good point you
I
make
have two
there, Hillary.
questions, please. I just have two
I'll
questions.
let you
Just
come
two
back into
questions.
Hillary, but I just want to make the point for you that I mean, from what's just to move on to you, the point he's making there. I mean, is a good point because when you look at it, Arsenal are getting singled out compared to everyone else comparatively. But when you look at the league table, it's the way Arsenal's being attacked. It's as if they're in eighth or ninth place out of the Champions League, suffering, but they're 4 points off top. And every other club, no one's really been doing that great. Liverpool now have started faltering for the last few games, so there is some sort of a target on Arsenal in some ways. But at the moment, yes, they've done bad in the cup competition, but they recovered. They won the North London derby. But whatever can be said about Arteta and Arsenal, they are still 4 points off top.
That's my
Okay.
point, actually.
Yeah.
All right. All right. 2 points. Just 2 points. January transfer window. Tell me why is Arsenal being linked with Zubimendi for 60 million when you have Osimhen? Why is Arsenal being linked to Zubimendi? You don't
I,
need
I
them.
think
Well,
I think if
I don't
I
think they
respond
linked
to
him.
it
I
one
think they
by
actually
one,
got him.
I believe Zubimendi is in because you can see right now in the midfield we are short-handed. Yeah, the injuries because Arsenal. If this is my thinking, if Arsenal
Yeah, but
was in,
He's coming in the summer, isn't he? And the
yes,
thing
in the
is,
summer,
in end of the summer,
but
Party is up.
yeah,
Party's contract is Party's leaving,
no
and
problem.
who else?
But it's
Jorginho as well.
because you
I
see
my
right now, Hillary. Before you talk about January transfer window, let me tell you one thing. If there's one thing that has disoriented or messed up the aim of Arsenal's transfer window in January, is the fact that stepping in the transfer window, we are lacking other important players behind. We've lost Saka, who's a key player in our in the Arsenal field. Yeah, we've lost Waneri, who was the second person. We don't know when it's gonna come back. Yeah, you see. Then again, you look at our defense. Still yet, our right back and left back has not been consistent ever since the first game. You can agree with me. We've been having an issue with our left back and right back. One is available. The next time, the right back is not available. The left back comes, the right back is gone. We have a little bit of a gap back here that I think, to my knowledge, what I'm trying to think because, and then you see the strikers that are on uh, in the level that I think Arsenal need right now are either Pricely, that is one thing, or either are not ready to come to Arsenal. Because people keep on saying that Isaac is being linked to Arsenal. Isaac right now is being priced at 150. Believe you me, without the assurance, if we were in a position where Liverpool were right now, then I could have advocated for a transfer like Isaac. But bring Isaac at
No,
150,
let's not. It's not
nah.
getting coming from no less than 150. Go on, but Hillary, go on. You were saying the transfer window.
my point is January, right? Scouting. Arsenal need to have a scouting department, right? Now, look at it. City already identified their weaknesses when the season, midway through the season. They went for Omar Marmoush. Look at how he's performing. They've gone for him immediately. They've gone for a centre back and all that. My point is, Arsenal are trying to fight for the title, third season in a row. This is your third season. What are you doing different when it comes to scouting from the previous two seasons? Which talent are you trying to bring in? Are you trying to be a force in the market? Are you trying to attract players? What type of players are you attracting? Because in the past two summer transfer windows, you haven't attracted good players outside of Timber and Declan Rice. Where's the Arsenal scouting department when you need it? Because right now, like you're saying, Saka is out injured, Gabriel Jesus is out injured. Who else is out injured that is very, very key for you? We can't say Calafiori because this is his first season and you have four other fullbacks that can come in. So
Okay, so
where
from
is
your
your
point of view, what
scouting?
does Arsenal need? Like you as a scout right now, what do you think Arsenal needs in the team?
Now, my problem is I can do scouting, but then Arteta does not trust players outside his 11. He brings in players last minute when players are already injured. For example, your fullbacks. Calafiori, half fit, he will start. If he's half fit, he will start. At the end of the game, he's back injured. Why? Because I trust specific players. So why am I scouting for you when you're not bringing in academy? Look at you brought in Nwaneri, trusted Nwaneri. It worked. The left back who's been playing recently.
Lewis Skelly.
You see what happens when you
Lewis
trust.
Kelly.
Yes. My point with Ateta has always been, and you guys have agreed at some point, that he doesn't trust players until it's last minute. Now, the problem with that is, let's say you have a Carabao Cup and you're bringing in the second 11 so that they can get into the rhythm, such that when a Saka is injured or whoever is injured, it's easy to bring them into momentum because they've been playing some games. Right now, Zinchenko is there. Is he playing? By the time when he plays, he'll be injured.
He's down the pecking order anyway.
Yes.
He's way
Why?
down
Because
the pecking order.
Kiwior, Jacob Kiwior, anytime he comes to play, he'll become injured. Why? He doesn't get game time. Even in the small games that you can actually rotate, like right now in the Champions League. Champions League, do you need to start your starting 11? But you'll
What do you
see
mean?
he'll
The one
start his
the current
starting
starting
11.
11 playing now?
Yes. Okay, Champions League, do you think Raya, he'll change Raya? Who's Arsenal second? What's the name of Arsenal second choice
Why would you
goalkeeper?
change any players for the Champions League?
Because you're playing a table. You're not playing, you've already qualified.
No, we
You
haven't.
see my, yes, you've
Okay.
qualified. You've qualified to the round of 16. You guys have qualified. But see,
Okay.
as Arteta will not rotate, he doesn't need to play his starting because right now, looking at the run of games, you're going to be playing every 3, 4 days. If you do not rotate, you're going to get injuries. You have not gone to the transfer window. If you bring in players who haven't been playing, it's going to be like the Tottenham game, where now Tottenham are bringing in players who haven't played together. What happens? Arsenal are just playing, toying with them for 90 minutes.
I mean,
That's what is going to
well,
happen
he
to
doesn't
Arsenal.
have much choice. I mean, he's got to play. You got to keep the mentor going. You don't want to go play Champions League and lose a game. And at the end of the day, some players are just not droppable. They got to keep playing, like the centre backs.
There's
Them man are just
momentum.
there every weekend.
There's what some games you can afford to lose. It's if you lose that Champions League game and rest your players for the weekend and win the weekend, will the fans have an uproar? You've already qualified.
But right now, the way it's looking right now at the table, that like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I still don't think Arteta's going to get Arsenal over the line. But what the league is looking like right now, it's almost, Liverpool and other teams are almost doing Arteta a favor as well, because they could be getting out, lights out, disappearing. But right now, Liverpool's vulnerable, and if you look at anyone else, Manchester City are vulnerable. And from Arsenal's point of view, Steve, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. From Arsenal's point of view, those are really the two teams you need to be looking at.
Well, but you
Yeah,
see,
yeah.
that's the mistake you guys are making because Liverpool wasn't supposed to be leading this season. This is the only, like, keep on saying, this is the only season where you look at your next five fixtures and you cannot tell whether you're going to win or not
Yeah,
because of how
exactly. Yeah.
unpredictable the season has been. This is the
Yeah,
only
but
season we're
right
having.
now, Chelsea have become a bit of a guarantee to drop points. After that, you can't really talk about Amorim and Man United because this is basically this season's a wipe off for him anyway. This is like he's just
Hmm.
knowing who to keep and who to play. So you can't really talk about United. Tottenham, Anger, you already see Angie. You see that team. They're Jekyll and Hyde. You don't know what they're gonna bring any weekend. And then who else is there? I mean, Nottingham Forest. As good as they've been playing, do you really think they're gonna hold on to compete for the title? I don't think it's going to be another Leicester City season. The rest are Newcastle chasing up there, and what else? I mean, Aston Villa. I mean, it's not really. I mean, when you look at it, it's Liverpool and City the most likely in the second half to try and build some sort of consistency. When you look at the players they have and experience in there. So if you're Arsenal, you're kind of like, okay, it's not really anyone else you need to be worried about. That those are the people you're chasing. One is behind you, and the other one's ahead of you, and you're kind of sitting in the middle of that.
I think, Abdi, I think one thing we try and look up, apart from when you look about 5 fixtures ahead or not, this Premier League season was so unpredictable to start with. Because I think looking at how Arsenal, the problem I think people do is that they look at Arsenal the past few seasons that they've been battling it with Manchester City, and having that Manchester City are the ones who have bottled more this season, that they've been losing points more. They expect Arsenal to be in the same position it was fighting for it because no one saw Liverpool coming. And you see, this is a new season with new tactics. Actually, for Liverpool, they have a new manager. You can't say that this was expected that Arsenal could have been on its top form because even coming to the season, as I said, we had our own worries, or rather, me as a fan, I had my own worries even before the start of the season. So I think at times when pundits on maybe other team come with banter against us towards Arsenal that we are losing points and all that, they should look at the situation of our games. We have some tricky stats with the red cards and blah blah. We were talking about that in the earlier games, yeah, because we've had our own issues, and that is the nature of the game. There is what we think when you say that you have to look at your next 5 fixtures. Yes, it's good to look at them and be prepared mentally, and psychologically, and also physically. But there is that situation of the game which is very different. You might prepare for a Brighton team that is weak, but on that time, maybe Brighton also are preparing for you, just you, to defeat just that one team. So there is the game situation. So I think it's unfortunate and unfair that we are on the spotlight of people expecting us to do more than we can do because that is what we have. And I keep on
You
saying,
put yourself on that.
yeah. You see, I keep on saying
Arsenal
this,
fans put
Hillary.
themselves in that
No,
spotlight.
Hillary, I keep on saying this. The table is a perfect reflection of how the league is. Not even the gameplays. The table is a perfect reflection of every team's performance. Leave alone the officiating, leave alone the team's downside. The table never lies. The table shows exactly the type of team you are at that moment with the situation of the game. That is all I can say.
That's a good point. I mean, the table doesn't lie. I mean, that's how it's going along. But let's move along. That's Arsenal, 4 points behind. They're chasing it. Let's talk about the team that they're actually chasing right now, Liverpool. Um, I mean, they're a bit stumbling. I mean, they did dominate against Nottingham Forest in that game, playing away. Nottingham Forest also impressing. But I mean, they're not looking too impressive at the moment, Liverpool. I mean, they are dropping some points, missing some chances, but they should have been running away. But right now, they're just sitting 4 points ahead with the game in hand. It's nip and tuck right here. They're not really running away with it, are they, Hillary?
Well,
Uh,
if you look at the Nottingham game, people tend to forget that it's not last season's Nottingham. This season's Nottingham has actually been very disciplined. I think they've conceded the fewest goals this season. Sells has been the best goalkeeper in the Premier League this season so far. So when people were watching the Nottingham Liverpool game, they were thinking this should be a walkover based on last season's performances, but not based on this season's performances.
I mean, they did win at Anfield, yeah.
Yes. However, Liverpool also need to ensure that they win the rest of their games. I think anyone who wants to win the league, whether it's Liverpool, Nottingham, Chelsea, or Arsenal, those four teams who are in the top four, all of them need to go to every game knowing that it is not a matter of a draw. Right? At this point of the season, no draws are acceptable. It's either a win or a win. Because if you just drop 2 points, that's it. We've seen Liverpool drop 2 points in 4 games so far and see how much the gap has reduced. So right now the pressure is more of a top four pressure rather than a top two, top three. It's more of a top four pressure right now because actually the gap between first and fourth isn't that big looking at how many games are left. So any team in the top four right now should look at winning all the games. And I think for Liverpool, it doesn't help with the transfer rumors that are ongoing right now with the most important players, Salah, Van Dijk, and Trent. They need to sort out those contract issues as soon as possible because I don't think it's helping with the fans and the on the pitch as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. I mean, they do have a lot of players that are going to go. It looks like, Salah actually is going to be leaving at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So I see that Al Hilal is it or whatever, we're ready to put a bid in
Mhm.
to replace Neymar. So I guess he's
Yeah.
looking to get his retirement package. But Steve, from your point of view, I mean, what do you think about Liverpool? I mean, it's a very different Arsenal chasing them than chasing City.
Yeah. For one thing I can single out from the Liverpool team is that the Liverpool team that we're chasing this season is not the same Liverpool that was in the previous season under Klopp. This Liverpool side is it looks like it is more structured. It looks like it has more focus. I think, and I give a thumbs up to Slot. I think I didn't expect it personally, and the way they've performed, you really gotta give them credit because the way they've been playing, they've been consistent. When they when they concede the first goals, they've always pushed for it, and that shows a fighting spirit of a team that wants to win the league.
Yeah,
But as I said, for a person who was looking at Nottingham Forest and looking at last season, then I think they've not been following the Premier League of this season because you can remember this is the team that beat Liverpool, the only team that has beaten Liverpool this season on their ground.
yeah.
And now they're coming to their ground, not even because they beat them on Anfield. This is a team that has a record, I think, of seven wins in
Yeah,
a
they had
row.
some wins on the bounce, didn't they?
Yeah, 7 wins. That's an impressive record. That almost like the one that Newcastle is having. So having that team is in between big teams, that is not a small team because you can see the way Gibbs White is been performing in that midfield. The way Chris Wood, one of the guys I've always looked down upon, one of the strikers I've always looked down in England. But when you see him in such a team and he's scoring goals, then that is not a team to just look down upon. And actually, if you look at the game situation yesterday, at the previous day, is that Liverpool were really on fire, but those guys were really patient to get their chances.
Yeah.
And that kind of play is a team that has, I think, the guy's name is Nunes. Name is
Speak to the
disappearing.
manager,
Yeah,
Esperant Nunes or something.
Nunes. I think it's Nunes. That guy has been. We saw the kind of work he was doing in Wolves, and now you see with a team that is well organized, you can see what he's doing. So one thing I'd say that it was a drop points for Liverpool, but if Nottingham Forest keep up the good work they've been doing, the record that they've been having, then I think it's going to be another Leicester, not a Leicester to win the league, but another Leicester to be in the middle of the cup
Maybe.
battle. Because right now, as you said, Abdi, you can count on Chelsea losing points because Chelsea were doing well until they were not.
Yeah. until
Yeah,
until
and
they
then you
get to the
see
world.
Man City also, we thought they were coming back until again you feel like there's something missing because after going ahead with 2 goals, you're like, this was a sealed deal. So I think the team that I will call consistent right now in the Premier League, not even Arsenal. I will say the teams that I'm looking at right now is Newcastle. I'm looking at Nottingham Forest and I'm looking at Liverpool. we are there in the middle, but I am, as an Arsenal fan, and at the state of the game, I say we are still shaky, and I think Liverpool are still the team to beat.
Hillary, what's your view on the Nottingham Forest manager? Is he a decent manager in your books?
Nuno Espirito. I remember when he was being sacked by Tottenham because he was playing boring football. But looking at, yeah, that's why he was sacked.
Yeah,
The
that's
Tottenham
funny now,
fans
isn't
are
it?
feeling, yeah, his tactics boring. But now looking at his performance with, you remember when Wolves came in and Wolves shocked everyone in the league the
Yeah,
first two seasons, and looking at Nottingham, I think when you structure your defense, how do you make Elanga look that good? That's what I'm wondering. How do you make Callum Odoi when Chelsea let him go? Chelsea let
different
him go to
player.
sign Mudryk.
But he was promising actually. Hudson-Odoi was promising.
Yes.
Yeah,
Bayern was
he's
actually in for him, but Chelsea didn't want to let him go to Bayern. And right now he's actually enjoying his game, playing how we know he can play. Elanga, like you said, Chris Wood, Gibbs White, just the entire team. I think a good manager is someone who makes the entire team look good,
Yeah,
gives the entire team confidence. And now a better manager is someone who makes a small team look actually dominating. Because when they came to Old Trafford, you couldn't tell which one was a mid-table team and which one had just been promoted from the championship side. Because Man United looked like the one which had been promoted from the championship side, and Nottingham looked like a big six team when they came to Old Trafford. So I think Nuno has done an amazing job. He deserved manager of the month last month. And I think he's really a manager to watch out for if he keeps on doing this. Hopefully, they don't let the players go because unfortunately for these teams, they have a good season and then the good players are bought and then they have to start over again. So let's see how. And the good thing about Nottingham is they don't have to play every 3, 4 days like the other top four teams. So they have
yeah. I mean
time to
that's
go
true.
back to relax and train and work on their mistakes and tactics. So
Well, I
that's
guess
a
that's
team.
where Arsenal are until well, only the Champions League left. But yeah, I mean Nottingham Forest, Nuno, I mean they're on it. Just to move along, just to see then the other few games that's been happening. Guardiola and City, away to Brentford. It seemed to be going quite well for them. Everything seemed to be pointing towards a bit of revival, but we know they're making some big changes. Kyle Walker I think he just announced that he's leaving in the season, so that's a big loss there. I think he probably won't be the only player leaving, but they're going in heavy. City are not playing around. They're going in heavy in the transfer window to replace and bring in some new fresh blood. And even Guardiola himself, I think you can see from the previous games, he changed a little bit up his system. His old system's kind of been caught up with teams just knowing how to break that midfield, and after that they just counter them. But they seemed close for a bit. At one point, if they had won that game, they would have only been 3 points behind Arsenal. And for a team that's had a bad run, they would have looked a bit in a better position. But them and quickly we can talk about them because I want to get to Isak in a bit. But just let me know your view. What do you think of City at the moment?
Um, for City, I think it's hard to tell because we've always seen City in a position whereby the second part of the season, they Pep always has a way to come back in, and also always that is always determined also with the team that are ahead of him if they're gonna win their games or not. But we've always seen him in such a position before, not once, not twice. We've seen him coming back. So I don't know if he uses the first part of the season as a way of studying teams how they're playing, then comes back. So I really don't know, but I could still feel that there is there is there is chemistry that used to be there in Man City because the Man City we used to, if you see any goal if you see two goals or three goals, then name that you have to name that man with the hair. But now when you see two goals and he's not there and he's not been consistent as before, then you can feel that there is that pattern of City scoring using Haaland missing. So you can feel there's a different kind of City right now, but I really don't know about City because they're unpredictable. That's the worst thing about City. It's a team that is very unpredictable. You write them off this moment, the next moment they're on your toes. And actually, I think when you start losing points and they start gaining points, they get more confidence. So I think the only thing is that the teams that are ahead of City should just keep on winning their games, or else that is a thing that will give them morale. And I think any team that is playing good can get morale through that because that gap between Man City and
Yeah,
Liverpool is huge. I think right now it's 12 points. That's a huge gap.
that's a huge gap. That's a
Yeah.
massive gap. Hillary, for you, City, and do you think they're shooing at least for the Champions League positions?
Even in the Champions League, how many
Like in the
points?
top
They're
four,
not.
you
They're
think you
not
think
that
City
far
will get top
behind
four this season?
actually. They're not actually that far behind. That's why I said for the top four teams, if they want to remain in the top four, they have to win all the remaining games. Because right now, no team behind them is letting go. Newcastle can come in at any moment. Aston Villa can just get out of the Champions League and then focus on just the Premier League alone, and then get back in battling for top four. So it's a scary season. It's a nice scary season because
Nice, yeah.
we're not used we haven't been used to this much competition in a long time. And I
It's
think
been a while.
unfortunately for City, they are victims of their own standards. Pep is a victim of his own standards because there was a time Liverpool had fallen off and nobody was, really mentioning them the way we mentioned Pep. I think Ferguson had a fall off. It wasn't that bad, but he had fallen off for like 2 seasons. So I think sometimes you just need to refresh your team and then come back and challenge again. For City, hopefully they take a break from winning this season, and then let's see how they do next season. They might decide to just let it go this season and then next season come back stronger. But like we said, like we keep on saying, it's too unpredictable, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. Um, okay, but
Abdi, I think before, if I'm not cutting this short, I think when you talk about City and Champions League, you look at them having 8 points on the table, and they're like three positions away to get out of the playoffs. Yeah, and then you see their last game they're going to play against PSG. Then you ask yourself, is this going to work against them or for them? Because you have a lot of teams behind them. You have teams like Aston Villa who might win their game. Sorry, not Aston Villa. Sorry, you have teams that are behind them that can salvage that win if they're beaten against. Sorry, if PSG win, they're gonna go ahead of them. That's what I mean. Because
okay,
PSG
yeah,
have 7 points, they have 8 points. So that's gonna be a very crucial game because they play next week PSG. They're 7 out of 8 games, so it's gonna be. I think PSG are gonna go up. So I don't know what their fate is in the Champions League, but I think if they're out of the Champions League, they're going to come back full force in the Premier League, and teams
yeah.
might suffer.
That could be a blessing for them. But then, I
Yeah,
mean, that is a good recovery to the season as well. I mean, if they win the Champions League, then the Premier League, the bad season doesn't look so bad anymore.
yeah.
In that sense, for doing that. All right, then. So, let's quickly move on to before we get into the tonight. Well, let's get into tonight's game coming up later on. Just a quick prediction. What's your feeling for that game, Hillary? Man United versus
We
Southampton.
need a proper 5-0 to just get rid of our negative goal difference. Anything below 5-0 is unacceptable.
That
We
negative goal
need a
difference. Okay,
proper,
-5. Oof.
yes,
That's
we need a
so. But you
5-0
feeling
to just.
comfortable? You got to beat Southampton today, man. I mean,
Oh yeah, today I'm comfortable. I've
they've
just
been
seen
the
the
whipping
lineup.
boys, man. Hmm?
It's an attacking lineup, so I'm comfortable with the lineup.
Yeah,
And hopefully the team comes through for us. And I just need 5 goals to get rid of that negative, because up next is Brighton. So we really need to work on our goal difference.
yeah. But if you win anyway, you move up to 12 anyway. Move up 3 places
Yeah.
if you win in that one. Steve.
Yeah,
What's
yeah,
the
yeah.
setup on this
It's
one? I mean, Amarim really needs to pick up some more wins now.
yeah, he has to. He has to because when you look at a Southampton side that has won one game and drawn three to add up to 6 points after 20 games, then that is a team to beat. Yeah. So I expect Manchester United to I expect them to beat Southampton, but I don't want Manchester United to win. But I expect Manchester to beat Southampton. But you
Yeah,
see, when you look at the state at which Southampton is, it's hard to salvage a relegation battle at this point. It's hard to salvage a relegation battle. But one thing I can
yeah.
say is that don't mess with a team that has nothing to lose.
It's tight, man. It's tight down
I
there.
can leave it at that.
That's tight
Don't
down there.
joke with a
All
team
right.
that has nothing to lose.
Let me just go to our final little thing. I wanted to give you and you guys. Right now, there are quite a few players, but what I want to know is your take. Between Salah, Isak, and Lamine Yamal, who's the best player in Europe right now?
Yamal,
Yeah, Hillary.
Lemil
But
Yamal.
statistically, Rafinha has been more clinch for Barcelona than Yamal.
Who? Rafinha.
Rafinha. If you look at Barcelona's games, if you've been watching Barcelona's games, who has better statistics? You see, at the end of the day, who has been producing the moments? When you say
No, but
moments,
you see, Hillary, you are given a list of three people. You bring in a fourth person. Me, I'm
no,
giving my sentiments according to the list that Mohammed has given me.
No, but even from that point of view, when he's given it,
If you put Rafinha, then I go I
you're
go
looking
I
at
go
you're looking
for
at certain
Mohamed
things,
Salah.
but it is Lamine Yamal has been the player
Yeah.
in some areas because you look at the combined in terms of, and he's been injured as well. He came back, but he's just like Rafinha has been a good finisher. But you look up who's been setting him up. You know what I mean? Lamine Yamal is the top assister in the league with 9. Rafinha's got 11, and both of them combined is actually all three of their lineups: Lewandowski, Rafinha, and Yamal. Goals and assists combined at 18, 17, 14. Like Yamal is third, and he was that injured. But in terms of like just the gameplay and the control and the differences, I mean, Yamal is like light years ahead, man. I mean, but what he's doing for 18-year-old, you know what I mean? It's he's
so you
he's
have
stepping into
Salah,
he's
Isak,
stepping
and
into a
Yamal.
different realm, huh?
You have Salah, Isak, and Yamal.
Salah, Isak, and Yamal, yeah.
I'm going for Isak.
Isak, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
that's
going
a
for
good one.
Isak.
Isak is on form. He's
Yeah.
got what, 8 games in a row in the Premier League. He's scored now. That's the Premier League record for Newcastle. I think he can probably be chasing what is it? Who's got that record? Isn't it
Alan
Alisson?
Shearer. Alan Shearer.
Not Alan Shearer. Isn't it Mr. Leicester
Which
striker?
record?
What's his name?
Which
Jamie
record?
Vardy.
Vardy.
The
Oh, Jamie
11
Vardy's.
goal. He broke Van Nistelrooy's
Oh,
record.
Yeah, isn't like the most consecutive goals or something
okay.
along that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's
11.
true.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. Is it 11? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, or
it's
something.
11.
Yeah. So he's chasing that. Salah's been on form for a little bit, but he's still. I mean, Salah's goals and assists is ridiculous this season. I mean, so
I put Isak because he's playing for Newcastle and performing like that.
yeah,
So if I had Isak in this Barcelona's team, can you imagine what that front three would look like?
yeah. I think on form, I think on form you can. Salah has been the player, like in terms of stats wise. But in terms of like just a player, as in a player, I'll put Yamal. For me, I'll put Yamal as probably the best footballer in the world right now. Like in terms of like talent and just control of a game, and it's easy to forget what he did for Spain. You know,
Yeah, and actually, if I tell you,
what he
Abdi,
did
when
that
you
there, and then and he's doing this at Barcelona. Remember this, yeah? Like he's coming into Barcelona, and he's performing on like peak levels. Like he's just what he did to Real Madrid the other day, man. My goodness.
Yeah, because actually, Abdi, when you see such a young player
Yeah,
who's very good and has got support from people, not even like Catalonia where Barcelona is, it's just sensational because when you're a talented player and you have support from your fans, nothing can stop you. Nothing can really stop you, apart from injuries, because every time you just have to step up. And if he keeps on doing that,
I'm
I
sorry,
think
my mistake. He's 17.
yeah, he's gonna be next on the Ballon d'Or discussion.
You know, they showed this interesting stat where they showed, I mean, of course it's unfair, but like even what he's doing, the amount of games he's played and what he's played now, Messi hasn't even played these games. Messi at 17 had like probably they're saying he played like small amount of games, like 9 or 10 games. This boy's plays, he's got 74 games, like 21 goals and 20 something assists, you know? And but what I like about him is just his skill, his football brain is ridiculous. His passing, his
Pure football.
vision.
He's a pure footballer.
Huh?
He's a pure footballer.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's. I think he's going to be the next big thing in terms of like consistency kind of player, you know. And his game suits him, you know. It's the way he plays the game. He's very intelligent.
Yeah,
You know, the way he plays, the way he controls the game, the way he can dribble past players. He can basically do everything, and he's played already at this age. He's already played at the highest level. So, and he's done it at the highest level. So for
yeah,
him, this is just a I'm just waiting to see when Barcelona get a Premier League team and he comes to England to play someone.
yeah,
Because actually, I say that in England we already know him because he done us in the final. So
yeah,
he done
yeah,
Spain done them in the final. But for me, he's the next one. And he is what everyone thought Mbappe and Haaland were going to be. You know, because you
yeah,
look at Mbappe now. No one's hyped up about him no more since he's moved to real league.
yeah.
Huh? This has come to a proper league.
No, it's come
I
to a
keep
place
telling
where
everyone, I don't want to hear about the French league. Let him come to a league, and we'll see what he can do. Huh?
she'll come to the English Premier League and see how things are done.
Yeah, yeah. The English Premier League. But I think it's about the right team suits them. Same for Haaland. Haaland's a quality player, but I don't like it for the way people hyped him up so much that he was going to be a certain level compared to like the Henrys of this world and certain players. It was just ridiculous. I mean, you can see Haaland, how many games he's been without goals, his performances. It depends a lot around the team and everything. So I think we're moving away from this whole Haaland Mbappe era apparently that was meant to come.
Mhm.
That's kind of died out now.
Yeah,
You know, no one's really getting hyped up. I mean, Mbappe is just he's come back down to earth quite hard, I think, being at Real Madrid. So what do you think of that? I mean, Isak is the one, man. That's like coming up to a whole new standards now, huh?
yeah.
Well, I think
Isak has been a growing player, and I think it was just a matter of time for him to be at where at the level of which he's playing right now, because he's always been a promising player, despite the fact that where he got some the step backs of injuries here and there, and also when he used to battle for the position when he was playing the same position with
Wilson.
yeah, Callum Wilson. So I think now the exit of Callum Wilson gave him the upper hand, because at that time the coach was trying to use the two guys. But when you
Mm,
see getting more playtime, he's scoring because he was promising, and I think Isak is now the man to watch in the Premier League right now. I think he's now. I say the same way we were looking at Haaland last season. I think we should now is the man to watch, because that guy scores from anywhere. That guy
yeah.
can beat you on the wing. That guy can beat you V on V. That guy
Oh
can
my,
score from anywhere.
yeah.
So I
He's
think
done.
right now, and actually playing for Newcastle and playing in that manner, then that is a good player.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the short. There's no disagreement there.
Yeah.
Hillary, you like this? This will make your evening. Arsenal spent more money on Kai Havertz than Newcastle did on Isak.
Again, I talk about the scouting department. We criticize United for our scouting
70 million
department.
down the drain.
Huh?
We criticize United for the scouting department, and I accept that we need to be
Yeah, yeah.
criticized for our scouting department. But Arsenal need to look at their scouting department because, like I said, outside of Declan Rice and Havertz, they haven't made a proper signing, which would have taken them to. Because I keep on saying if they had kept Martinez, they would have won the league. If they had kept Dibu Martinez, they would have won the league. That changing of keepers and changing the backline and bringing in ex-players from other teams
Yeah,
instead of, trying to bring in someone special, your own talent, and scouting for proper talent. I'm
yeah.
still
No, I
waiting
agree.
for, yeah, we're still waiting for the next talent that Arteta scouts or Arsenal scouts, and yeah.
We'll see, we'll see, we'll see, man. I guess we've got to look forward to today's game, man. Your boys best not drop the ball today against
Yeah,
Southampton.
Ah,
That'll be a big disappointment on that one. But we'll come back again this weekend. The games are coming thick and fast anyway, so I guess we'll
yeah.
be back again on Monday. I guess to let the weekend just go by itself. Or if we can do Sunday evening, we'll see. We'll maybe get Dylan back. He might be feeling a bit humbled about Liverpool at the moment, so let's see. Let's see how that comes back to it, man.
All
All
right.
right, guys. Nice one, yeah.